Welcome to the C-Suite Sherpas, where we shine a spotlight on business experts and resources that you should know. Our mission is to connect our listeners to the experts who can help you to boost your personal and professional performance. So today's guest, I'm excited to have Jeff Sesol. He's the founder and CEO of Pull the Chute. They help clients to become better leaders by redefining true leadership and creating a new leadership landscape, which we're excited to hear about with Jeff. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks so much. Appreciate being on the show, Ron.
Awesome. All right, let's jump right in. I just explained what you do at a very high level. So
Sure.
if you could just give us a snapshot of what your business is and the major outcomes that you get for your clients.
Absolutely. First of all, I'd like to start by just explaining the name because people always go, where did the name Pull the Chute come
Yeah.
from? And I always say it was one of those midlife crises. I was turning 40, decided I wanted to go skydiving. And so you go 14,000 feet up in a plane, you tumble out, you're falling at 120 miles an hour. The first thing you notice is it's really hard to breathe. Next thing is everything's happening so fast. You move your hands, you start spinning out of control. Everything's happening so fast, you can't see where you're at and you can't see where you're going. But at 5,500 feet, I pulled the chute. And suddenly I could breathe again. I was in control. I could see where I was at and I could see where I want to go. And as I like to say to people, isn't that a lot like your life or your business life? Sometimes when we're in business, especially, we have a tendency to just feel like we're moving at 120 miles an hour and we just don't take that pause. So the whole goal behind Pull the Chute is to get people to quote unquote pull the chute and to take a breath and to feel in control, and to see where they're at and see where they want to go. And we help them figure that out. And through that, one of the things that we've done is we've really focused on how to grow your company, how to grow your business, right? So our little tagline is grow your people, grow your company, because we feel so strongly that if you can grow your people, if you can build good leadership in your company, that your people are going to take care of your company and help it grow. One of the biggest problems we find is that owners have a tendency to get in their own way. They can't get out of their own way. They don't trust their people enough to let go of things. And of course, then they become that whole area of things don't get done because they're the funnel, right? Everything has to go through them and they become the issue. And so by teaching them to be better leaders, to be better, by teaching their people to be better leaders and teaching them as an owner, as a C-suite person to let go, and it's okay to let go. And you can trust when you let go, and to build your people up, to show your people empathy, to build trust, to do all these different things that it takes to be a leader really has made a big difference for people. So when we work with our clients, 95% of the time, and I'd say 99, but I think you just got to have the once in a while you get that wrong person that just can't quite grasp to let go. But when we work with them, the whole goal is to teach them to first to let go, and second to then support their people. And they do that by building their own leadership skills, by letting their people feel trusted and letting the leaders feel trusted, because that's the foundation of everything from a leadership. It's all about being trusted and how to build that trust. And so we do that with our leaders and with our people that we're coaching with. And it's a process. I tell people, look, you're who you are because of your environment around you that you've been developing you for the last anywhere from 20 years to 60 years. And so you have to unlearn certain things. And the funny part is, to be a good leader today is something that we should be able to do naturally, but we fight it. Like when I started in the corporate world, I started at Harris Bank in Chicago, and it was one of the mentality of it was top-down mentality. You do what we tell you to do. You keep your head down. You get a paycheck. And by the way, if you had any thoughts and ideas, that's okay. We know better. And today that has all changed. Back in the early 20s around COVID and all that stuff, we had the great resignation. We still have it today. It's not quite as exuberant as it was, but 4 million people a month were leaving their jobs to go to other jobs. Why? Because they were felt unappreciated. Like literally like 72% felt unappreciated. Only 12% left for more money. And so it's this crazy numbers of people just, they want to feel like they have a voice, like they feel appreciated and that they can do something on their own and they can voice something that they think is a concern, things like that. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but that's,
No,
I
that's
start to,
great.
I started to get passionate about it because I really see it.
As an executive, I've been an executive for a lot of years. I can see what you're saying. Early in my career, I struggled with giving up control.
Yeah.
And actually, frankly, my way's my way or the highway, right?
Yep,
It's
exactly.
my way's the best way. So how do you get executives or business owners to make that journey?
Part of it is breaking them down personally. So it's funny. We start out, I'm almost a life coach for them, and we spend time. And when I say time, months, understanding where their struggles are. And I help to point out, here's what you did. A great example. I had one client that basically, again, follows the my way or the highway thing. I'll be like, hey, Ron, I want you to do this project. Can you get that done? Sure. No explanations. Friday rolls around. You're like, I thought you were getting this project done. Oh, I was getting there. I didn't realize there was a deadline, right? I didn't realize that we had to do it this way. And so the idea has changed now where, as I've taught them to say, hey, Ron, I need this project done by Friday. Let me tell you why. Okay. I need it done because we're going to actually introduce this new report to our clients because we think that it's going to help them respond better when we go do this. Right. So what I did was I gave them the deadline. I gave them why we need to do it and the because. And when you do those three things, then it's their responsibility to say, hey, Ron, can you now do this for me? And you go, sure, I can get that done by Friday. What time? 1 o'clock? Yep, I can get that done for you. Or if they say no, as the leader, you say, do me a favor, let's talk about what you got going because maybe you're pretty overwhelmed and I should be talking about that with you if you don't have the time to get that done. And so as you go through this process with them, they start rethinking how they're approaching things. And so if I can get them to start doing that and the results every time, 100% of the time, if they follow the, hey, I need it by this deadline, why, and because, it's going to happen every time because now they're invested in. And if you get them to say, yes, I can have it done by Friday at 1 o'clock, now they've owned it. They've taken it on. And you, as the C-suite person or as the corporate executive, are like, okay, they're going to get it done. And so that's how that kind of works. But once
Yeah.
people understand the why and the because, what a difference.
Yeah, that's great insight. I love that approach. And back to the control with small business owners, and we see this a lot. They become the person, like the company value almost is non-existent if that person is not there. So
Absolutely.
does this really apply to them? And how do you get them to trust you or trust their employees by giving up that control that they've had for so long?
So the first thing we have to get them to understand is that it's okay to give up control. And then it's all about baby steps with them, right? So it's the ability to say, and I work through, I go, what are one or two small projects that you can give them to start building the trust between you and them? You need to know that they're going to get it done and they need to feel like you're trusting them to get it done. So you
Right.
start out with those baby steps and you get them to start doing small things. And very quickly, once the first or second project get done and they get done in time, and usually they get done ahead of time because the person really wants to prove themselves, right? Then what happens is they start to go, oh, I see how this works. Okay, great. So now what they do is they start giving them more. And the whole goal, that's where the coaching comes in. The whole goal is to help guide them to say, okay, what's the next project you're going to give them? And by the way, now you're not going to interfere, right? You got to let your ego, you got to park your ego. Again, being from Chicago, it's the whole Phil Jackson, what he did when he coached the Bulls. He had a lot of egos and he told them, park those egos at the door because together as a team, we can make this work. Obviously, 6 titles later, they did it. And so it's all about teaching the owner to park their ego and say, look, it's not always about you. As a matter of fact, when I teach people to be leaders, the first thing I teach them is it's not about you. The moment you make it about you means you're not a good leader. If you can make it about the other person, ask them what they need to do their job to make it easier, to do their job better. And then as long as it's within reason, give it to them, they're going to accelerate. And the great part is once you see as an owner, once you see, and maybe you only got 2, 3, 4 employees because you're just starting out and you're small, but once you see them starting to take control of things, the realization comes, hey, I now can go and do other things that are going to help grow the company because they think they're focused right there. And then so what happens is when they feel like they're the only ones that can do it, then they're never going to grow. And then they sit there and they look in the mirror and they go, why are we not growing?
Right.
And the problem is that they're the funnel, they're the problem with it. And so it, again, takes time. I got to reteach them. And we point out situations and I encourage them to do certain things. And then we come back and we talk about, hey, what were some of the highlights this week? What were some of the lowlights? What's a couple things that didn't work? And we talk through that. And then all of a sudden, the theory is if I can help them build muscle memory onto how they actually respond, is really going to make the difference, right? So instead of responding emotionally to a situation, take that step back and go, okay, what's really going on here? Why is this happening? And in doing that, you can help to build this muscle memory within them. So again, it's reteaching them all the things that the world around them has taught them for so many years. It's you and I, as we grew up in the corporate world, my way or the highway, right? And that was a struggle. It really was for the longest time for me because I had all kinds of ideas. It took a while, but you finally started to break through. But we're in this new era that we live in now. And again, what you got to do too is as a leader, you got to remember you got people that are working from home, people that are coming into the office, you got hybrids, you got all this other thing. So it really is a completely different landscape when you talk about what it means to be a leader.
So you bring up a good point. We've seen that evolution from when I started my
Mhm.
career to where it is now, and it's definitely a lot different. Where do you see that going in the future? How is this evolving? And one things that our viewers are always interested in, how does AI affect it?
Well, a great question on the first part. The second part is a completely different answer, but an interesting one. So the first part is where's it going? We've got to keep building leaders, right? So here's a great stat for you. 82% of all the companies know that they need leadership development. Only 5% are doing it. So where's it going? We got to get more people involved in what it means to be a leader. We got to get more people educated. We're in a 4 generation society right now, right? So we got the baby boomers, we got the Gen Xers, we got the millennials and the Gen Zers. All 4 of those just groups, right? Grew up differently with different technologies and communicate differently. And it is incredibly hard to communicate between all 4 of them. When you think about it, baby boomers, we weren't real, I'm a baby boomer, right? We weren't really big into computers, although I was because my dad was, believe it or not, and he was a depression baby, but he really enticed by that. He was an electrical engineer, and so I learned how to do the computer stuff early on and adopt to that. But there's a lot of those people that didn't, right? And then you got the Gen Xers. There, that the cell phone started to become a thing, and texting was a thing. Baby boomers like to meet face to face, or at least video conferencing like this. Gen Xers were some more texting. Millennials were heavy more into texting, social media, and then you got the Gen Zers, where all they want to do is text, put their head down. They don't even look at you in the eye when they see you person to person. It's a completely different environment. So we've got to find a way, and we're getting there to bring those 4 generations together because they're still going to be in the workforce together for a while. But the Gen Zers and the millennials are the next group coming up. Here's another great stat for you. 75% of the workforce by next year, so 2025, is going to be millennials.
Oh,
Only
oh,
69% of those millennials feel unprepared to be in leadership roles.
that's incredible.
Huge stats,
Yeah,
right? And so
huge.
where are we going? The question you asked me, where are we going? We are going from where we're at today, which is 5% of the companies actually doing it. Man, let's hope within 5 years we could have 25% of the companies doing it
Yeah,
because it's going to change the way that they do their business. And when they talk about we need profits, we need this to be better, we need that to be better, you can't work in a bubble. You got to throw that out to your people and you got to expect feedback and accept the feedback because we can't have all the answers. That's the difference.
yeah. What I struggle with is why people running businesses are not, they're pretty smart people, right? Why would they choose not to provide leadership development?
Because they think they can do it all.
No.
That's the problem. So, right. So here's the problem. We got to teach business owners that they don't have to have the answer to everything. Right. So when I grew up in the corporate world, right, if I wanted to be a leader, I needed to become an expert
Yeah,
in the field that I wanted to become a leader in. Right. That was a huge mistake because when I became the expert, then I told everyone how to do it. I didn't want to hear what anybody else had to say.
right.
That mentality still exists today where we think we're the expert. We think we need to have all the answers. And so what we need to do is we need to teach society, we need to teach business leaders, C-suite people, they don't have to have all the answers. As a matter of fact, it's okay to say, great question. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's talk about this and let's come up with a solution that might help us all to do this better, to have a better vision, to have a better goal, to have better environment, work culture, just all the different things that help it work so much better. One of my companies back in the early 2000s was a company called FreeDrive, and we were very early adopters. We were web-based storage, by the way.
Yeah.
We were very early adopters of this culture that said, hey, we don't know all the answers, but we're going to work together to solve it. Where I literally had 2 database guys one time, it was one of my favorite stories, that did a 40-hour work day for me. And people go, you mean week, right? And I go, no, day. It means they came in on Monday and I forced them to go home Wednesday because they needed a shower, to be honest. But the funny part is that we gave them this environment where they were like, they're all working together. And, oh, what's a great idea? Let's go do that. Because we were inventing stuff back then. It was 2000, 2001. We were inventing web-based storage and what that all meant. And things didn't work sometimes. And so we were figuring things out as we went. But we gave them this open environment where they could offer ideas and suggestions and thoughts and know that we heard that and say, great idea, let's go for it. And
Yeah.
and I would literally tell them, please go home tonight. They'd go, oh yeah, we will. And then I'd come in the next morning and there's like a note on the door, wake us at 9. I'm like, you guys are killing me. But that's what I'm trying to express is that's the type of environment that helps companies just grow beyond belief.
Right.
When you have an environment that is so supportive, so trustworthy, so with empathy and appreciation, where everyone, when they wake up in the morning, my goal and passion is that when you wake up in the morning, you go, man, I got to go to work today. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not crap, I got to go to work today.
All right. That's, by the way, very insightful. I do want to jump to a section where we want the listeners or the viewers to really get to know you a little bit
Sure,
further. So I'm just going to throw some questions at you and give me the first answer that comes to mind. So,
sure.
ready?
Yep.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
All right. Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
If you could only grab one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
Wow. First thing that comes to mind is a taser. So I can stop them in their tracks.
Interesting. Favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
Actually, it goes back to the Bible, Hebrews 11:1, which is faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you cannot see.
That's beautiful, by the way. Favorite movie or streaming series?
Favorite movie of all time, Godfather. Couldn't resist any other one but that. A streaming series, wow. I'm currently watching Only Murders in the Building. So
Oh,
that one's really enjoyable. That's on Hulu.
oh, okay, cool. By the way, I just watched Godfather on the way back from Europe.
See? It's a classic, right?
Love it.
a lot,
Yeah,
a lot, a lot of what we do is goes back to this famous quotes of the Godfather, right?
it does. Yeah. Favorite book?
Favorite book. Wow. Actually, weird one, but Celestine Prophecy. It's all about energies and how energies can change it. I'm a firm believer that when you get around people, I love to give positive energy and I want people to give me their positive energy. When I get around someone that is a poor me and they suck all the energy out of me, I'm exhausted. And I don't have time for those type of people. And Celestine Prophecy was a James Rudden book, but it was just one that really taught me about the importance of energies. And I love to give off positive energy to people.
I love that. Perfect. So, last question, and it's a two-part question. One bucket item list that you've already accomplished, and one bucket item list you have not, but is at the top of your list.
One that I've accomplished would probably be the skydiving one because that was a blast. I actually did it twice. And the second time was so much more fun because I knew what to expect. One bucket list item that we haven't accomplished is to get over to Europe and Italy specifically. My wife and I, we were supposed to do that for our 40th wedding anniversary and COVID hit. So hopefully for our 45th, that is the bucket list item that we're going to knock off.
Congratulations on 40
Thank you.
years.
Thank you.
There, that's awesome. All right, great. So, the most important question, if any of our viewers would like to collaborate with you or get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, thank you for that. Jeff at Pull the Chute. That's PULLTHECHUTE.net. Send me an email. And you can go visit the website, pullthechute.net, and set up a call. You can schedule a call. And if you want, you can give me a call, 615-572-9500. It goes right to me.
Awesome, Jeff. Thank you for your time. Thanks for your insights. It was very interesting, and I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day.
You too.